Welcome to the year 2050, when aging is no longer a curse, but it became our greatest superpower. You see, by 2050, I'm going to be in my 60s, and the number of people over 60 will double to 2.1 billion. One in four of us is going to be over 60, and we're going to outnumber young people for the first time in history. But this is not a tale of overpopulation or decline. It's a golden age of humanity, where longevity contributes to every part of society. You see, by 2050, we stopped seeing elders as needing care and started recognizing them as the people who care. And when we combine this incredible, untapped human resource with the advancements in technology and AI, we started reaching our true potential as a species. We replaced loneliness with purpose, and every generation flourished. It's the dawn of the era of the elders, and it's the future I would like to explore with you here today. You see, I really believe in this future because I'm the result of what happens when older adults look out for you. I was raised by my grandparents in Transylvania, Romania, and ever since then I've been surrounded by older adults whose love and wisdom shaped every part of who I am today. My grandma lived through World War II and through the hardships of communism, and she taught me that as long as you're alive, there's always a solution to everything. Might not be super obvious or very elegant, but you just start somewhere and it keeps getting better. And that lesson has really become my mantra as I moved to the United States 23 years ago alone. And then I met Linda at a dinner party in New York. And Linda was in her 60s and fabulous. We bonded right away, and she quickly became my mentor, friend, and mother figure. And you know, Linda heard that it's really good for young people to hear 5 positive things, so she started calling me every day to tell me that I'm fun and fearless and kind and smart and loved. And yes, I initially totally cringed hearing those things, but after a while, I was so looking forward to those calls. And then there's Ethelyn. She's 94. She makes the meanest martinis, insists on introducing herself as trouble, and her consistent dating advice is just kiss him, you're wasting time. You see, a third of my friends today are between 60s and 90s, and I know who to go to for advice on investments, on healthcare, on recipes, and even dating. Imagine if every young person had an Ethelyn or a Linda to go to. How different their lives and our world would be. Sadly, today that is not the case. Today, older adults feel invisible, segregated from society. We live longer than ever, yet we fear aging. We're about to double our life expectancy, but we did not build the culture and the social infrastructure to support this new reality. As a result, older adults are lonely. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 3 older adults are lonely. And that's really bad because loneliness increases your rates of dementia by 50%, not to mention so many other bad things. But what's worst is that young people are even lonelier. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 kids are lonely. And they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with loneliness, which is leading us to the highest mental health crisis in history. This crisis is costing us trillions, and we're failing both young and old. We simply cannot afford to grow old in this world. So we have to radically rethink aging today. So here's what I see. I see that we're at this beautiful inflection point in history where 3 different forces are converging, opening up maybe new opportunities. First, there's a world of wisdom out there. There are a billion people over 60 today, and that number is about to double. Healthcare systems and governments see this as a problem. But this is not a problem. It's potential. Why? Because the second force, technology has evolved in a way that it can now enable us to connect with older adults, to connect them to each other, and to connect with young people worldwide. And interestingly, older adults now use the internet. 75% of them now use the internet. And this is really, really new. But let me tell you, if you ask older adults today if they're technologically advanced, they'll say no, absolutely not. But if you ask them to FaceTime you or Zoom you, they'll do so in 5 seconds. This is my friend Brigitte with her daughter and granddaughter. Ask the right questions. And third, the science is clear. Intergenerational connections are good for young, good for old, good for society. Research from Harvard, Johns Hopkins, Columbia, and all over the world shows that when engaged in intergenerational connections, older adults reduce loneliness, delay cognitive decline, improve health span, and the kids benefit too. They gain confidence, social emotional skills, and resilience. So, let's take a step back and take into consideration my grandma's wisdom. Can we find here a novel solution to our societal challenges? What if we can use technology to unlock the time and wisdom of older adults as a new natural resource for all generations to thrive? What if we can transform one generation's loneliness into the solution for the other's mental health with one intervention? This is not elder care. This is elder empowerment. By doing this, we improve both of their health and we shave off a few $100 million of loneliness costs globally. Bonus points, we support the parents, the sandwich generation, who desperately are trying to care for both. After all, this is not a novel solution. It's as old as humanity itself. We evolved with the older adults taking care of youth while the middle generation worked. What is new today is that now we have the tools to scale this. And this is not just a vision of the future. It's happening today. You see, a few years ago, I lost Linda to brain cancer. And when that happened, I was heartbroken. It was then when I really realized just how fortunate I have been to have her in my life. How much her love and her wisdom, and yes, her daily reminders, changed the trajectory of my life. Her belief in me became my belief in intergenerational connections. So I wanted to build something that celebrated her memory, that gave every kid their own Linda. And I did the only thing I know how to do. I asked older adults for help. So for the past 5 years, we've been building Eldera. Eldera connects vetted older adults with young people and with each other for weekly virtual conversations and scale. And the results are life-changing. 94% of the people who connect talk weekly. 72% talk for a year or more. And the number one benefit they report is joy. This is Patty. Patty is a grandma and a teacher who had to retire early and spends most of her days home alone because of her health issues. Well, today, Patty is actually mentoring 3 different kids, one of them in South Korea, and has single-handedly started a series of virtual socials and book clubs so other older adults like her never have to feel alone. And her mentee, Margot, even published an article about how Patty changed her life. And this is Kent. Kent is a retired engineer who built some of the best-known technologies in the world at Yahoo, Netflix, and Pinterest. But in his 60s, his eyesight is making coding a little bit difficult. So we paired him up with Jackson, who joined Eldera as a teenager because he was better at code than at people. So now together, Jackson's coding with Kent's wisdom are building the next generation of the very technology that brought them together. And this is Connie. She asked her 6-year-old mentee what her goal in life was. And the little girl got very serious and said, "My goal is to not die." Connie immediately realized that this was a result of the latest school shootings. So she reached out to her mentee's mom. Together, they're supporting the little girl and her mental health. And she then educated the entire community of older adults on the effects of school shootings on young people. Now they're talking about taking action in their own communities to change legislature to help young people. But these are just a few of thousands of connections happening around the world, each forming their unique bond, each making an impact, each building joy. And we've learned so much. We've learned that young people They want to have an older adult show up for them. They want to be seen, heard, and valued. In fact, teenagers talk on average to their mentors 90 minutes a week. I said mentor, not parent, sorry. And then older adults, they just want to make a difference. They want to leave the world better than they found it. But they're trying to learn about how to do that. And thankfully, young people share a fresh perspective on the things that really matter to them, like mental health, like climate action, like gun laws, like Taylor Swift. What we do does not replace human connection, it amplifies it. It makes it available to people regardless of geography or mobility. It builds bridges across politics, demographics, and education, bringing together people who would have never otherwise met. It's the most human use of technology I can imagine. Today, we're at a crossroads. Will we continue to see aging as a burden, or are we finally going to embrace it as our biggest opportunity? Because if we do this right, we're not just solving a problem, we're starting a movement where aging becomes the catalyst to solving some of society's largest challenges. We're going to start with loneliness, with mental health. But then how about education? How about climate? How about poverty? The possibilities are endless. So let's come back to 2050, where we turn the tide on aging, going from anti-aging to pro-aging. And in doing so, we welcome the world where we all matter, no matter our age. Because if we're really, really lucky and we play our cards just right, we're going to grow old. And I want to grow old in a world where I matter, when Linda, Patty, and Kent matter. And I believe that you do too. So I choose to see aging as an opportunity. I invite you to join me. Connect with a young person. Connect with an older adult. Together, we can grow old in a way that's not just inevitable, but enviable. We can make our collective wisdom a resource to society and our longevity an asset to humanity. Thank you.